Hello and welcome to today's LOL Esports Roundup. We're going to cover the games from this morning in the LPL and LCK, and then preview tomorrow's slate in the LCK and LCS. The LPL are taking tomorrow off. Prediction-wise, I'm 153 and 66 on the year. Become a member and you'll get my predictions. I've decided that I'm going to extend my members-only predictions for at least another month. The way I see it, that even if I can't invest as much time, I can still make predictions if people want to support me. That's at the $10 tier, by the way. So if you don't want to do that, $3 tier just supports me. Get a badge in the comment section. It'd be much appreciated. Recap, LPL. JDG third in my power rankings. Those were updated yesterday. FPX 1 and 6. JDG win 2-0, game 2 in under 20 minutes. Ruler 1309, 29% of damage. Knight 10-0-10 was MVP. Xiaolahu 661, 31% of damage for FPX as he tries to solidify his stranglehold on the position after losing it last week to Fearness for a little bit. Pretty cut and dry. JDG just smoked him. Game 1 was close for a little while, but JDG would take over, Ruler would take over, Knight would take over. Knight, Flame Horizon, Care, and well, I mean, that in and of itself was enough for him to earn MVP in my opinion. A Flame Horizon being 100 CS or more up on another on the opposition's roll. And then in game 2, Ruler was very impactful, and Kanavi obviously did work. 369 hit 3 solo kills on Xiaolahu in the top lane. He had a case for MVP. Missing did his job. Sometimes he got caught out on Lux, but otherwise I thought he played, JDG just like took care of business, right? Now, there was a little blip in game 2. FPX's bot lane did get a 2v2 kill. I think that matters. As I said going into it, Chow Chow is new to the team last week, and we saw him have some of an impact in FPX's loss over the weekend, and some impact in this loss as well, as he tries to acclimate himself. I do not expect FPX to make big strides with Chow Chow, but I think that they're going to be more respectable than they are at the moment. LNG and BLG. LNG 12th in my power ranking, 6-1. BLG 15th at 4-3. LNG obviously getting the most heat out of my power rankings because they are first in the LPL in the standings, but I have them ranked 6th in the LPL in my power rankings. This was their first real test, in my opinion. They played RNG without Ming and Angel, so that was pretty much useless. Tangwan looked bad, and Bunny looked very bad as well. RNG have fired 2 coaches since then. Frankly, RNG were not the same team as they are now. That's why RNG are above LNG in the power rankings, because I think RNG look like a new team in the RNG of old. And we'll see how they do against a real team coming up. Similarly, a test like LNG have right now. So with that in mind, LNG played BLG, and they win 2-1. Scout, 22, 6, and 28, 33% of damage. I thought he played a great Azir game in game 3, which gave him the MVP. Tarzan, very well, 13, 5, 36, very well, played very well. Sejuani in game 3 really sticking out. Obviously the latest game that I watched, but at the same time, it was back and forth for a little while in game 3, a lot of kills. And in the end, LNG come out ahead. Elk, 12 kills, 15 deaths, 15 assists, 31% of damage. BLG's win con ended up being mid-jungle. We saw them really have some success there in their win. I think June and Yagao sticking out to me, having like the vast majority of the kills and the impact. However, in the end, they couldn't do it. Bin had a couple flash plays. A Fiora play sticks out to me, but at the same time, I thought that versus Zika, he did not really set himself apart. I will have to look back. I wish I had, the 15-minute split, CSD and all that to look at, but I don't from the LPL. Really wish I did. Frankly, never mind. I was going to say something, but it's an idea I'll keep in my head. And in the bot lane, LP did work. I thought LP did a lot of work. I thought he played a good series against Alkanon. This is a solid team. This is the first solid, complete team they faced. Thunder Talk, when they played them, I don't know if Yao Yao was in the lineup at the time. If Yao Yao wasn't, Jin Lu is awful. I'm not shocked by LNG winning that one. So this is clean. Like I said, Scout and Tarzan play fabulously. They have all split long. I'm not going to doubt that or say that's not true. I think I've said it before on my videos. I think Scout is playing like the best mid laner in the world right now. That does not mean that he hasn't faced tough competition. He hasn't. So it does not mean he has faced. Yeah, he hasn't. So that's kind of the deal there. Genji and Nongshim. Genji second at 7-3. Nongshim 1-9. Genji win 2-0. Chovy 14-4-15. 35% of damage was MVP. Doran 8-2-13. Definitely made a case. Renekton in both games. Vital played well for Nongshim, going 11-3-5. 40% of the team's damage. Probably the better AD carry between him and Pays today. It was a mid diff for sure in game one. Chovy solo killing Fiesta early. And Peanut going mid lane, I think, twice. And really impacting that matchup, allowing Chovy to carry on the Silas. Fiesta getting caught out multiple times on an Akali. Doran's Renekton, very aggressive in game one and game two, almost getting a solo kill in game one. Outside of a Baron steal by Dindin, so that's how it's pronounced, not DN, but Dindin, stole a Baron with an Ornn ulti. So that at least gave Nongshim like a pep in one step, or however you want to look at it. However, the rest of the series was pretty bleak for them. They had some moments where they were able to keep the game kind of close. I think game two was close for a little while, but eventually Genji took over. Fiesta looked good in game two on the Akali. But Chovy's Kassadin ended up scaling to the point where it could take over the game, and it did. So, Nongshim, an improvement over the last time they faced Genji, I imagine. And, that's the start of the second round robin for them. Now they're 1-9. Their season essentially in dire straits. Well, not season, but split. KT and D+, KT 4th, D+ 9th. This prediction I got wrong. I got the other three right. KT 7-3, D+ 6-4, D+ win 2-0. Showmaker 6-1-7, 28% of damage. Did very well on an Akali and a Jace. Was my MVP. So all four games, the MVP was the mid laner. Deft 6-0-11. BDD went 3-4-1, 31% of damage for KT. Canyon also didn't die. So when you have your jungler and AD carry not dying for D+, that's a good way to win a series, 2-0. I will say, game one, a lot more entertaining than game two. Or was Kana? Doran was not on Renekton both games. Oh my gosh, Doran was not on Renekton both games. I just swapped Doran and Kana, I think. Well, we don't edit content here. We just kind of go with the flow. I think Kana played Renekton both games for D+, so if someone in the comment said something after that, I ended up catching it. But, nevertheless, Showmaker, I thought, on the Akali was very, very good in game one and really did a lot of things. And then in game two, I think it was a very slow, boring game. First Blood may have came at 19 minutes. KT got it despite D+ being up like 5k gold without getting a kill. It was one of those kind of games. So we know what those kind of games are. We see Bro play them, and D+ like to play them. So just a slow choke out as KT really didn't have an answer for D+. LCK for tomorrow, HLE and Bro. HLE 8th, 6-4, Bro 4-6. Last games they played, HLE beat DRX, Bro beat KDF. Week 4, day 2, earlier this split, HLE would win 2-1. The matchup highlighted on the Discord was Kingen versus Morgan. When they played last, Kingen went 1-4-7 and dealt 18% of the team's damage across those three games. Morgan went 4-1-6, 18%. So it looks to me like both of them were on an island. Obviously, I'm not drawing back to literally, a week and a half ago. But I think we get the picture there when it's 18% of the team's damage. It's under 1/5. Low KP. I mean, Kingen involved in 8 kills. Morgan 10. We can assume they were on an island for sure. T1 and Sandbox. This one definitely the best matchup of the day tomorrow. T1 first, Sandbox 8th. In the power rankings, T1 beat Gen G, Sandbox beat D Plus last week. Week 5, Day 3, so only a week ago, T1 would beat Sandbox 2-1. Top lane was a matchup highlighted. Zeus went 10, 4, and 12 with 19% of the team's damage. Birdall 4, 7, 5, 20%. So once again, an island situation there. Well, Zeus a little more involved than Birdall, I imagine. 22-9 is a bit of a diffy, but then again, we also got to think that Sandbox did lose. How many kills did they have across 3 games, right? T1 did slip up in a game, though, against them, and Sandbox have really impressed me and surprised me. Envy, Cal's showing that maybe it was him and Prince that did well, and not only Prince. But I still, and I keep saying it, I think Closer is the player that's really underperforming for Sandbox. I'd expect more out of him. So maybe this time around against Faker, he gets the better of him. LCS FlyQuest 100 Thieves. We have the number 1 fanboy of Doublelift versus the number 1 fanboy of Prince. Fly 8-1, 100 Thieves 4-9. Fly beat CLG. 100 Thieves lost to Golden Guardians. Week 3, Day 2, FlyQuest would win. The bot lane was a matchup highlighted, and in that one, FlyQuest's bot lane absolutely railroaded 100 Thieves in that one. Prince and Winsome went 13-4-25 for a combined 41.7% of the team's damage. Doublelift and Busio 0-11-7, 29.8% of the team's damage. So we saw it. I mean, we remember that game, and also the numbers check out. Immortals and TL. Immortals 2-7, TL 3-6. IMT lost to EG. TL lost to C9. Week 2, Day 1, TL would win. Top lane, Revenge went 4-2-2, 29% of damage in the loss. Summit 2-4-3, 30.4%. So definitely a contested matchup up there where both of them dealt nearly 1/3 of their team's damage. Very different than we see over here where it's under 1/5. So top lane matchup going to determine a lot if this game goes like it did last week. Well, not last week, but last time around. Golden Guardians and C9, GG 5-4, C9 7-2, 17th in the power rankings. Golden Guardians would beat 100 Thieves. C9 would beat TL. Week 1, Day 2, C9 would win. The mid lane matchup's a matchup highlighted. I have no stats on it. Why, you may ask? So at the time in that series, I believe Golden Guardians were playing with Young. Maybe they played with Gory that time. It's irrelevant, though, because the thing is, C9, Eminez is playing now, and Diplex was in that game. So, you know, Eminez is a very different player than Diplex. We went over it in the roundup either yesterday or the day before. A very, very aggressive player, more than 1 solo kill per game across his career in many different regions and academy levels. So, you know, that one will be a big test for him, right? Gory is no slouch. He's probably one of the better mid laners in the LCS immediately. Obviously was with PSG and FPX last year, and Nongshim even before that. TSM and CLG, TSM 5-4, CLG 4-5. TSM beat Dig, CLG lost to Fly. Week 3, Day 2, TSM would win. Boogie went 6-4-12, 22.8% of damage. Contracts 1-7-4, 28.4. That's a big diffy in the jungle when you go 6-4-12 versus 1-7-4. Contracts definitely dying a few times in that one, and TSM coming out ahead. I think that game was sloppy, though, if I recall correctly. Maybe that was the solo Scion game. I think it was, where he literally just died like 5 times and then did the shy and was able to impact the game. And then to finish us off, it's Dignitas and EG. Dig 0-9, EG 7-2, 20th in the power rankings. If Dig lose this one, they will be the first 0-10 team in LCS history. Dig lost to TSM, EG beat Immortals. Week 2, Day 2, EG obviously won. They were in position of perfect game, Dig, and then lost it in the final few minutes. Inspired went 2-1-11, 11.3% of the team's damage. Santorin 1-3-1, 12.3. Very different than the TSM CLG game. You see TSM CLG were up over 20% for both, and in this case we're at the lower end, down in the low teens in the EG Dig series. Series but game. Definitely more facilitate oriented when Dig and EG played versus TSM and CLG. So that's it for the roundup. Later on today, patch 13.1a's video is going to come out where I go over the most common matchups, so don't miss that. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss it. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, become a YouTube member. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, and thank you for watching.